Hey guys, we're out here on Lake the Ozarks today, and I want to take just a minute to show you our new A-rig head, our Swimbait head basically. This is for A-rigs. So here it is. It's nothing crazy fancy, but it's everything that we wanted in a head for A-rigs or Swimbait specifically. Now we only offer it right now in an 1/8 ounce version because that's all we're using it for right now is A-rigs and stuff, but if it does well enough, we may consider getting some 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce versions made up. I want to talk about a few things that we couldn't find in just a regular jig head off the shelf already. So we were looking for a head that was affordable, has a good keeper on it, so the swim baits aren't constantly getting pulled down. You don't have to glue them, you don't have to mess with any of that, especially in the winter when it's cold. But one of the biggest things was the screw lock here. We wanted a head that had a screw lock on it. The next thing we wanted was some good weed guards, and we ended up with these wire weed guards, and I really like them. So there's actually 2 of them on here, so you can run them just straight out of the package like this, or sometimes it works out a little bit to just kind of flare them out, kind of like that. I don't know how well you can see on this GoPro, but just kind of flares them out. I really like these wire ones because they're not like over the top. They're not like a fiber one that's just too stiff and it's going to cost you to miss fish, but it's also has enough that it's going to keep you from getting hung up. So we like these here in the Ozarks, fishing around brush piles and stuff, and we go down to Table Rock fishing around cedar trees. These have worked out really well. And then the final thing is the hook. So we experimented with some different hooks. One that's stout enough that you can still kind of horse the fish in with the A-rig, but also small enough that if you do get hung up, you can usually try and bend the hook out and get it free. And then we also wanted one that has long enough shank, but not too long to overpower the swim bait, and then has a big enough throat that you can still have a swim bait on there and have a good portion of your hook exposed. So here it is on a Kitech 3.8 swim bait. This kind of give you a reference of it. So for this particular hook size and swim bait head, from a 3.8 all the way up to a 4.8 is where I think it works the best. So you start getting down to a 3.3 Kitech, you really need to get a smaller hook. We'll have to get another head made for some of the smaller swim baits, but we decided that we end up throwing a 3.8, a 4.3, or a 4.8 the most. So we opted to go with this size hook to kind of catch all those in one head without having to have different size hooks and get it really specific, and then it becomes kind of a headache. You have too much. We're trying to condense and keep things simple yet effective. Get these now before winter, before everyone's trying to buy A-rig stuff and before we run out. We do have kind of a limited supply of them right now. We've been using them for 2 years now and kind of making modifications, and they've worked really well for us. So like I said, you can find them on our website, MidwestOutdoorExperience.com, and they should also end up being below this video on YouTube. That will redirect you there. Try them out, guys, and tell us what you think. Hopefully you can catch some big fish on the A-rig this winter with them.